right, Shalom. All right, we want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Thank double honors unto the apostles, the elders, at great millstone that taught us this truth through the Holy Spirit. And a sincere peace, blessings, and salutations to the Hakim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this knowledge of truth and the sincerity. All right, with the brothers from GMS AZ camp, Slakia, back, linked up, to the Lord willing, put together an edifying lesson, midweek lesson. Rose was talking, through the spirit about, how, bros have to be, mindful, and it's very circumspect in this time, because this devil, he about to take his deception, his fucking trickery, his deceit, to a new level, to a higher level, and therefore, in order to combat that, we have to be more on point. We have to be more spiritual in everything that we do, in the way that we conduct ourselves, in the way that we see things, because it's going to be very easy to get tripped up if you're not operating through the spirit in these last days, man. The devil, he saw Edom, his blessing is the sword, and the Lord had put him on this planet, and just inherently in his spirit, he's a great deceiver, and he deceives on a level to where he's operating, 10 steps ahead of a normal individual out here, to where they can't really see through his trickery. But the Lord blessed us with the spirit to be able to see through. Brother, get that 2 Corinthians 2:11. Where we're able to see through the wicked devices that this devil brings forth. Grab that from me real quick.
This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
Right, we get that with devices. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices. Right? We saw this over the last week or so. This devil is claimed to be releasing UFO files. What type of benefit or information does this devil ever give you that's not going to end up benefiting him the most in the end? What good does it do for him to inform the public about the so-called UFOs, the so-called aliens, or other life forms at this point in time, other than for him to use that as a means to deceive? Right? Go ahead.
The word is noema. It goes into a mental perception, thought, evil purpose, that which thinks the mind, God's purpose.
Right. That's what he do. He plays on people's minds, but ultimately it's for a wicked purpose. It's for a wicked purpose. And this whole, I'm going to release these files and I'm finally going to put you up on game on the truth of what's going on, man. The scriptures say that this devil come out of the womb speaking lies. He's not for your benefit. Everything is for an agenda for this devil to ultimately seek to fulfill his personal agenda, which is a new world order, a one world government, and full total control over the people. So, even if you release you something, and really the truth is in these scriptures and this word that we're bringing forth. You're not going to get it from the devil. Anything that he puts out, you better believe it's going to be mixed with lies. It's going to be mixed with deception and deceit. You see, how much of these videos that he's going to be releasing is fucking manipulated by AI, or how much of it has been altered or fabricated? There's the scriptures speak in Wisdom of Solomon, the 12th chapter, and tell you that you can't trust the enemy. And so I say all that to say, more now than ever, we gotta be circumspect on everything that's taking place on this planet Earth, man. We gotta look at it through a spiritual lens, and we gotta operate with wisdom, because the agents are out and they active. The deception, through his media, through him seeming like he's doing you a favor, is active. All of these things ultimately to trip you up and to deceive you into believing something that's not real.
what was it saying? Don't underestimate your enemy, especially this devil, man. He's a very desperate individual right now. You know, he's seeing his power slippery. Scripture said that he was put in slippery spots. So now that he sees us waking up also, you know, he's scared, man. So, you know, he's going to conduct and he's going to resort back to that blessing. Right. You know, the go back to that whole, you know, what was it that dude saying? Chimp something? What was it? Chimp, stop chimping chimp or some shit like that? Yeah. You know, Esau resorting back to that nature, you know, that spirit. You know, because they got to make, you know, what was that saying Nixon said? As long as you have the common Edomite, the common white man, you know, as long as he feels that he's over the so-called Negro, he's good. Yeah. You know, so they got to push that nature and you know, basically the society that they're creating is going to be an anti-Israelite society. You know, it's going to target the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Just like they did with the C-19.
Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 14. Wherefore he saith, awake thou that sleepeth, and arise from the dead, and Mashiach shall give thee light. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools but as wise, redeeming the times, because the days are evil. Therefore be not as unwise, but understanding the will of the Lord. And in his faith, we understand the prophecies, we understand the truth, and we understand the scriptures, man. You know, we walk circumspectly, understanding the times that we're in the most wicked society that has been. You know, the scriptures say, you know, Satan himself, the devil himself disguised himself as the angel of light. You know, a lot of things may seem good. You know, 5 verse 14 and 12 spirit. You know, there seem good to a man, but the end thereof is death. You know, brothers have to be locked in to the main objective, you know, which is our salvation by adhering to the Lord.
I had that one right here, 2 Corinthians 11 and 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their work.
Run that back again.
2 Corinthians 11 and 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness.
Yeah, man. And that's what this devil can do, man. He can convince people that he's the one with the knowledge and he's the one that has the information to show you the way. He transformed himself into an angel of light, man. You know, a brother just posted a meme in the chat that said that Bill Gates refused to give his children, you know, vaccines. You know, well, why is he at the forefront and giving them to your ass? You see, he act like he's the beacon of light to guide the world into a resolution when, you know, a pandemic happens. But at the same time, whatever that solution is, he ain't giving to his own fucking children. You know, this is why the devil cannot be trusted. This is why our people are really going to have to put on a level of discernment going into these last days to really, brother, can you get that one for me? Discern between the righteous and the wicked. Is that a Malachi? What is that? Yeah. You know, because we living in those times. Because even Israelite leaders are pushing agendas that are ultimately going to lead you off the edge of a ditch, man, or the edge of a cliff, I should say. You know, they you know, putting out messages like they rolling up their sleeves, like that's the right thing to do. Like if Yahweh Shai was walking the planet, like he would have told you to do that too. So it's a lot of deception going on in these last days, and who you choose to follow is gonna be the difference between you making it or you being destroyed. Go ahead.
So how much chapter 16? Yeah. Okay. 16.
Yeah, you can get that.
Malachi verse 3, 16, verse 18. It says, then they feared the Lord, spake often one to another, and hearkened and pardoned, and a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord, and that thought upon his name.
Right.
And they shall be mine, saith the Lord of hosts. In that day when I make up my jewels, I will spare them as a man spared his own
going to be spared in these last days, and the Lord making up his jewels, man, that's the elect. You know, because those are the ones that are going to be spared from the coming destruction. They're going to be able to see through the deceptions. They're going to be able to navigate this thing because they're going to be under the influence and the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You see, so the Lord, what he says that man's goings are of the Lord. So the Lord is going to guide our steps when all of these things take place that are prophesied to happen in the last days, man. And there's going to be a lot of death, a lot of destruction. There's going to be pestilence, plagues, earthquakes, all of these things. And in the midst of all of this, the Lord is going to be guiding us.
It goes into that parable about the 5 wise virgins and the 5 foolish ones. The 5 of them trimmed their lamps and did the adjustments that they needed to do to you know, so when that evil day did come, you know, because it does say that they were all awoken when the bridegroom came in, you know, right? It surprised them, you know, but the element of surprise, you know, when you're prepared, it diminishes real quick, and the spirit activates, and now you're on that spirit mode. You know, you reap the spirit, of course. If you haven't done that, then you're not gonna, what does scripture say? You're gonna reap corruption. You know, you're gonna reap the flesh. You're gonna reap. You know, you might have the things of the world like that, but what use are they gonna be to you if you're not in the spirit? You know, that's gonna be that ultimatum, that difference between us and everybody else. But that's really what this whole thing's all about, man. That's why the Lord is having us go through this process of purification to be able to endure those days in wisdom. You know, not be all bugged out like the rest of the people's gonna be. You know.
Let's finish that off.
This word, Malachi 3 verse 18 says, "Then shall you return and discern between the righteous and the wicked."
Right. Then shall you return and discern between the righteous and the wicked. Go ahead.
It says, and between him that serveth the Lord and him that serveth not.
Because there's a difference, man. There's those that are really serving the Lord in truth and sincerity, and then there's those that are not. You know, the scriptures speak about hirelings, those that are teaching for hire, and you know, false prophets that are going out to the world. You know, and they're out there. You know, and they're teaching the Bible, and they're teaching you that you're an Israelite. All right, but then they're speaking things that don't align with the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And you got to be able to discern when those things are taking place. And then you got to separate yourself. You got to separate yourself from those men, because we're coming into the last minutes of the last days where, you know, the Lord is really creating that separation, man. He's really starting to make it be known who are his elect and who are not. Because you even got, you know, I don't know if you ever watched videos of that, what's Deacon Akaz group? I can't remember what it is right now. But now they calling on Yahshua now, man, or Yeshua or some shit. See? And this is just the Lord separating the elect from those that are not. So right now is the time when you got to discern between the righteous and the wicked. It's a matter of life and death. Just go ahead and jump. Yeah, you over there.
This is Proverbs 4 and 18. It says, "The path of the just is as a shining light, and shining more and more unto the perfect day." So ultimately, the Lord, people are starting to see, who the true prophets are, who's not. Because look at the works, and you just see the darkness coming from these false teachers after, years and years of rebuke. They still not hearkening, so it's pretty no excuse.
Novices lifted up in pride. Go ahead.
The brother was saying the path of the Lord is shining bright. This is Jeremiah 13:16. Contrary, it says, "Give glory to the Lord, your power, because he causeth darkness, and before your feet stumble upon the dark valleys. When you look for light, he turned it into the shadow of darkness and make it gross darkness." So, you know what I'm saying? He's that path of light that will shut you all the way out.
Man, that's how some people are gonna be, and Jacob's trouble is gonna be bugged out. Not knowing what was happening live, you gotta come to this truth. You know, this is that cheat code that the Lord put upon the earth to evade what Esau has upon what Esau's trying to get. You know, this is I'll get this real quick. Joshua 24:15. And if it seemed evil unto you to serve the Lord, and that's what's happening with a lot of these different camps. It has become evil to serve the Lord because they sold out to the system. Him and that group, they basically took a bag and ran with it, and now they're full-blown Christian organization, making money. It says, "Choose ye this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood." And that's really what these men were. They were that group of men that were worshiping all these other gods. It says, "Are the gods of the Amorites and the land you go, but as for me and my house, we will serve you." And how that's really the difference. You got
This is Matthew chapter 10 and verse 16. It says, "Behold, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Ye therefore wise as serpents, and harmless as doves."
Let us remember this as well, man. Because I know, some brothers, on the job, people fucking with you. You go out into the world, it seems like, and it's happening more now than ever, especially with the, how prevalent social media is. But it's all these people out here, trying to provoke you to anger, doing shit for fucking clicks and views and all that kind of stuff, man. Let us remember this, man. Run that back again.
This is Matthew 10 and verse 16. It says, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in
Right.
the midst of wolves."
Remember, we are sheep in the midst of wolves, man. We ain't out here trying to be, tough guys. Even on the highways and byways, man. You get these fucking demons that come out of camp, man, and they fucking get under your skin, bro. Some of them get under your skin, or you be like, man, I wish this motherfucker would just leave. But sometimes you be feeling like you want to do something, but we're not living in that time where we're trying to be tough guys, and one wrong move could open up a whole world of hell in your life that is gonna take a long time for you to recover from and bounce back from. Now you got court dates, now you got fines, now you got fucking all types of shit, man, that just ultimately that takes away from the spirit, man. Now you gotta devote time and energy into something that's not just pushing this truth, and it's ultimately a discipline and control thing, man. And we gotta put that on in these last days, because Satan is working and trying to get us in any way he can, and he's trying to take these angles and play on our weaknesses, man. And we gotta recognize when this shit is happening, man. Is that more than that?
I got the definition for the word wise.
Go ahead.
This is in Greek, 429. Emos says intelligent, wise, prudent, and mindful of one's interests.
Prudent and mindful of one's interests, man. And that word prudence, goes into moving wisely, like moving with wisdom. But what was that last definition? Mindful of one's interests.
Yeah, mindful of one's interests.
Mindful of one's interests, man. So we gotta be mindful, especially what we allow to, what we allow to, have an influence or control of our behavior, of our response to something. That the scripture tell us to make not hasten the time of trouble, man. We can't allow these outside forces to dictate our actions. Because we got the spirit, we got the knowledge of Yahweh Shem Shai, and he is the perfect example of being falsely accused, being spat on, being completely mistreated when he was absolutely innocent. And he had the power. He said, if I wanted to, I can have my father send, these legions, the angels, and destroy all this shit, But he was completely obedient to the will of Yahweh Shem Shai, and that's how we gotta be.
Lord shall judge the people. Judge me, O Lord, according to my righteousness and according to my integrity that is in me. So, your attention, King David pleaded to the Lord, to have some clemency in this situation. He says, "Oh, let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just, for the righteous in the Lord try the hearts and the reins." And going back to the definition of wise, mindful of one's interests. Our interests are to please the Lord. Our interests are to get salvation. King David just spoke that. It says, according to my righteousness, and according to my integrity, that word integrity, your ability to do things behind closed doors. When these demons are attacking us, and all these different spirits, and all these seductive spirits as well, Babylon the Great, they're trying to shake us out of this truth. Your personal battle, means everything to you.
This is Sirach 22, 16, 20 to 17 verse. But we gotta resort back to the scripture because that's right here. This is Sirach 22 and 16 GNT. And wooden meat can be put into a building so firmly, and an earthquake cannot shake it loose. A person can be trained to use reason and good sense so well he keeps his head when the crisis comes. A mind that thinks things through intelligently is like a car and wall finely decorated. That's that Isaiah 33:6. Wisdom and knowledge shall be in the lifetime. So things we're going through now, it's really just test for the times to come because as you put it, make not haste in time of trouble. Making haste in time of trouble that could lead to a lot of situations that you want to be in.
Talks about the untempered order. You gotta have all the untempered order. Go through that proper process, so that when they try to besiege it, doesn't lose its strength and shit, compared to the untempered shit where they're gonna go through it, and especially when Isa starts bringing out all that false information, a lot of people are gonna fall for it. When he tells you that there's a Habashai or they call it Jesus Christ shows up in one of these deserts and people flock to it, which is going on with these UFO files, basically saying that they're preparing the people for that, for that announcement that there's extraterrestrial life because they want to destroy religion, that's part of that agenda, to do that. So hey man, we're gonna be with you these days. We really do gotta be with you. Are you still reading or? I got it. It says Philippians 2:12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. And that's the spirit we have to be in right now. A very fearful, trembling spirit. There's a lot of elements out there that are trying to take your crown. They're going to present themselves in things that you didn't even think. That's the Lord doing His thing with you. That's why you got to be very perceptive of what times you be in. So it says, for it is the Most High which worketh in you both to will and to do His good pleasure, and to do of His good pleasure. Do all things without murmurings and disputings, that ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of the Most High, without rebuke in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world, holding forth the word of life, that I may rejoice in the day of the Mashiach, that I have not run in vain, neither labor in vain. We're in those times that everything's being brought up. The receipts are being brought up. And if you're offended by it, then that's just the way the Lord wants you to go out by it. Right now we're in a time where everything's being addressed in spirit. The Lord's making a full inquisition of everything. How we conduct ourselves, the doctrine, everything's being waged war at, and we believe in the name. That's what we say, that's the name. They're trying to say just all kinds of matters of evil against us. They say that the different conspiracies, so-called conspiracies that are not realities, weren't going to come to pass. We've been teaching that, and now, man, that sometimes at one point we say that was a conspiracy. Now they're teaching it. So false prophets are being revealed. Those that wait till it's proven fact, now they want to believe in shit. The Lord don't deal with that. That's a lukewarm spirit. It says, for the same cause also do rejoice and rejoice with me. So that's the whole matter of the thing, Right. We gotta
6. Your brother can hold that, but I'm gonna let y'all get your precepts first. Because now is the time to put on that whole armor. You know, the fiery darts are definitely being thrown.
This is Job going to the elder was saying, it says Job 17:9. It says the righteous also shall hold on his way, and neither hath clean hands shall be stronger and stronger. Like the brother was saying, you know, the position of difficulty that the world is in, man. And the position of difficulty being in this truth. And this truth cleans your hands. You know, this washing in the water, the daily baptism of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, every day that we're in this truth to be cleansed our soul, you know, allows you to hold on to this way in this difficult time.
Alright. Get Ephesians 6 and start at verse 19.
This is Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 10. It says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might.
Alright, be strong in the Lord, man. You know, now more so than ever. The incredulity is picking up. You know, Rose put out videos all the time, all over social media, man. Somebody got something negative to say about the Hebrew Israelites. You know, you got people putting out their testimonies about why I'm no longer a Hebrew Israelite. You know, all of these things are at play. People that are close to us, you know, are being offended by the truth. You know, they're offended by the sacrifice that we're making, time. You know, all of these things the devil is using to try to play on our minds, to try to play on our spirit, to weaken us. We gotta be strong, bro. Go ahead.
Verse 11 says, put on the whole armor of the Lord, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
And that's all it is. You know, when we're coming up against all of this opposition, it's getting heavy in this time because we're so close. You know, and that's why it's that much more important to really lean into this truth. Surround yourself around the brothers and those that are going to keep you in the spirit, because it's a whole lot of fucking distractions out there too. The more that you're distracted, the less that you're pouring into the spirit. I'm really experiencing that shit more than I ever have. And so all of these things, we gotta, self-examination is important. We gotta recognize when we feel that we're veering off of what's benefiting us in the spirit and get back on track. Before, you know, you fucking too far gone, man, and then now it's a battle for you to get back to where you once were. You know, recognize it early, man. Be mindful of all of these things, man. You see? So we got to put on the whole armor so we can stand against the wiles of the devil. Go ahead.
Verse 12, it says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood,
Right.
but against principalities and powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world,
Yeah.
against spiritual wickedness in high places.
So it's things that we're battling against that are not just seen with the naked eye, man. It's principalities, the spirits, the darkness in high places. There's things going on in the dark, you know, where is the reason why you'll have a whole group stray away from the name, and then they start coming out with these doctrines and not taking heed to rebuke, but claim they understand the scriptures. That's one of the foundational things you learn when you come into this thing.
They rebuke you and shit. They're rebuking you, and if any, you know, start rebuking you. Like you got the wrong. That's man.
It's an off spirit. That's a epitome of pride when you have an elder come to you that been doing this thing damn near longer than you've been born, and then they can't even rebuke you, man. There should be a level of respect that comes with men that have been serving in this ministry for so long, man. That's a testament of their, you know, obedience and them being in line with the Lord. Because if you ain't in line with the Lord, then He ain't gonna keep the spirit on you like that for that long. For you to be able to endure that long.
What Paul said, let me show you my faith by my works. That shows them how much faith that man had. Okay, been through all that, and he's still here holding it down.
And you still rocking with the Lord, man. God, man, it should be a level of reverence. That's why we say double honors.
Okay, because when you're in the truth, where you kind of see like, damn, you've done 40 of these, or
Right.
30 of these, or 20 of these, 10 of these,
Right.
5 of these, you know. It all has this milestone, because it's like every year, every day, man. Or every day, let's say it like that. You know, that you're in the spirit. It's the day one.
Hey, get that one where talk about, like, you know, experience, patience. Get that one, because you know that ultimately goes into that, man. Once you start to experience certain things and you walk in the truth, and you know, it might be a battle, a heavy battle that you're going through, you know, might take you low. Then that's when you really start to reverence and you really start to understand what it means to have longevity in this thing. You know, it's not a light thing.
And it's like any career that a basketball player, football player, there's certain adjustment he has to make at certain parts of his career to be able to continue being successful. That's the thing, the same thing we're doing in the spirit, man. You reach a certain point where you're like, I can't be doing this, that, and that. It's not beneficial for the spirit. I gotta start doing this, that, and that I don't really like doing, but it's beneficial for the spirit. That's how I found myself really. But then again, you start loving that thing that you don't like because it makes you feel in the spirit. It makes you feel good. You see, that's really the delayed gratification. It takes weeks, sometimes months of continual practice, of continued discipline. Can you grab that too, brother? Discipline worketh with perfect work, something to that effect. Patience working with perfect work. If you can. Because that's the spirit we're in, man. You know, the Lord's giving an increase, and there's certain things that you're gonna have to do to receive it, to be receptive of it.
Yeah.
And you might not even peep it, you know, but you gotta do certain things. That's why what he said, when my disciples leave, they should be in a spirit of fasting and prayer. When you fast, man, you're in a very spiritual spirit. And right now we're in those times where we should be doing a lot of that. Hey, especially because that prepares you for the famine, man. Hey, where a motherfucker could, an ordinary person might not be able to go a whole 2-3 hours without eating. Hey, we might go fucking 3-4 days with no food, and we're good in spirit. Because then it goes back to that whole building up that we're doing right now. That's why the apostles are pushing diet. All these things are going to play a very important role in how you deal with Jacob's trouble.
That's right. You got it. James chapter 1 and verse starting at 2, points at 4. It says, My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience, but let patience have a perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing.
Damn, you see? And we're going to reach that status pretty soon. When, you know, obviously when I wrote you how we should get here, but we're going to be in that mode where we're going to be able to fucking deal with the situations that we're going to encounter. Whether it be hunger, whether it be, you know, how to maneuver with your family, you know, when they're asking questions, all that, bro. Right? We're going to be able to bring out precepts, we're going to bring out the scriptures to them, to comfort them. And you know, the miracles that are going to come, you know, that's going to be the biggest, I told you so, for a lot of people. And that's where there should be known who are my chosen. Lord, you know the things for us.
What else we got? Yeah,
this is Romans 5. Starting in the blue letter. This is Romans 5, starting from the top. It says, therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with the Most High through our Lord and Yahweh Mashiach, by whom also we have access by faith into this grace wherein we stand, rejoicing in hope of the glory of the Most High. And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope. And hope maketh not ashamed, because the love of the Most High is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Spirit, which is given unto us.
All right, now just jump back up to verse 4. Let's get the word patience and the experience.
Can I read that too?
Yeah, come.
Third verse, it says, we can rejoice too when we run into problems and trials, but we know that they help us develop endurance. Endurance develops strength and character strengthens our confident hope of salvation.
You know what? And putting on that mindset helps roles to not break down when we encounter tribulation. Because in the world, they encounter tribulation with no understanding. We look at it as, what is the Lord trying to show me here? Like, what is He working on? What is He perfecting within me that I'm going to need to ultimately cross the finish line to salvation? So we look at it through a different type of lens that actually gives us the strength to continuously endure these things. See, because mindset is a lot of the battle. You fucking start to let that spirit of bitterness come up in you when you start to go through shit, and then Satan start playing on your mind, and then you can start to blame the truth and everything that comes with it for your problems, and that bitterness fosters into ultimately you losing the faith.
Hey, when you want a fruit, bro, like any fruit, you want that fruit to be nice and juicy and sweet. That's how we gotta be with the Lord, bro. Anything that comes from the Lord, whether it be the word of Job said, whether it shall we receive good of the Lord, not bad. Fuck all that, bro. That's a weak ass spirit. That's a really weak spirit, because sometimes you need that bitterness or that heart to make that sweeter. It's that perfect balance.
Right.
Hey, that fruit that when they put manure on the field, that shit smells like shit. Like it's one of the worst smells ever, bro. But it produces that best fruit. It gives you some good soil, bro. Now you can work.
Yeah, let's finish out the NLT. Let's get the words.
Well, I'll just get the words. I finish looking it down. But the word patience goes into control, name. It says steadfastness, constancy, endurance.
Yeah, endurance.
It says in the New Testament, the characteristic of a man who is not swerved from his deliberate purpose and his loyalty to faith and piety by even the greatest trials and suffering.
There you go. See, that's where we all hope to be. So understand that that's what the Lord is working in. You know, we encounter and experiences various trials and these tribulations. What about experience?
Experience goes into proving, trial, improve, specimen of tried word.
Specimen of tried word. Go down in the Strong's. What does it say down there?
Goes into improving trial through affliction.
Proving trial through affliction. So it shouldn't be a strange thing when we encounter afflictions and these things. The Lord said we were appointed to these things. You know, but for the elect, the Lord is never gonna put more on us than we can bear. You know, if we be of the elect.
2 Corinthians 6:4. But in all these things, proving ourselves as the ministers of the Most High in much patience, in afflictions, in necessities, in distresses, in stripes, in imprisonments, in tumults, in labors, in watchings, and fastings, and by pureness, by knowledge, by long suffering, by kindness, by the Holy Spirit, by love, on faith.
Yeah.
I want to grab that word real quick.
Yeah. And that's all the things that we would experience, man. You know.
It goes into the word Anapomitos, unfeigned, in disguise, very sincere.
Man.
A sincere spirit, bro.
Yeah.
You know, really wanting to change yourself so that you can better serve the Lord. That's really what this whole thing's all about. You know, like the scriptures say, little exercise profited a little bit, but it profits.
Right.
You know, you feeling good about yourself, and you know that's something I come to learn and just kind of really apply more and more every day. Just treating your temple, treating yourself, in a very loving way, to the degree where now you can be lovable for everybody. He that is evil to himself, who are you going to be good to? It's not going into the physical sense of it. It's more of a spiritual sense of just building up that bond, man. Because it's going to be tested. Like you want to reach a point where you kind of like have the flesh and the spirit kind of like that. Obviously, never going to be perfected, but we want to get to a point where the spirit's always having the upper hand over the flesh. If that makes sense, You want to exercise more of the spirit, so it's always stronger. You keep the flesh at bay, And like bread, one of the things that he mentioned is kind of spiritual. That he mentioned all these other necessities and problems, but the only thing that he kind of balanced with the fastings, because that was the element that he had to apply to kind of keep himself in the spirit. Like pureness by knowledge, sometimes you have to separate yourself from people, man. You can't be too into the world. You can't be too into your job. You can't be too into women. Whatever brothers, carnal vice is, we have to replace it with a vice that's still carnal, but in the sense that it benefits the spirit. There's certain shit that you just don't benefit you, bro.
Yeah.
That ain't good for me. Not even, there's nothing that's good for it. It's not evil, but it's not good for me. You see? It's a difference.
That's right.
You gotta get that.
You know what's up? Yeah, go ahead.
Brother was talking about, it says, my son gathered instruction. Sirach chapter
serious. Like the Lord's about to visit this place, and y'all just fucking cruising around, being assholes, like petty ass arguments, petty ass everything really.
Yeah.
That's just been a vexation of spirit recently. And it kind of reminded me a lot, you know, he that was vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. Just people talking of conducting business in this society annoys the fuck out of me, bro, because it's like, man, you just want this place to keep going.
Yeah.
Like, damn, I just want this place to go down. I want businesses to close.
Yeah.
I want to wake up one day, I go to the gas station, ain't no gas. You know? Let's get the test going, bro. That's really the times that we're in. But, you know, it's all in the Lord's time period, time frame.
We got another one. This is Romans chapter 8, verse 35. It says, "Who shall separate us from the love of Mashiach? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril of sword? As it is written."
Hey, that's coming, that pearl sword. Nobody's going to take your life for this truth.
Yeah.
Like some of us are going to be surprised by who it is and shit. Legions and shit, man. That's just the times that we're in. So I'm going to have someone knock the door, bro. They're going to take it to that fucking, X-File, what is it called? Area 51 type area situations. And then you usually see the dude walk in and shit. You're like, oh, fuck. All dressed up in a black suit and shit, bro. That's going to be crazy. You know? But that's good. That's just part of the walk that we're in. We got
Verse 36, it says, "As it is written, for thy sakes we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter."
damn, bro. You want to say something?
Just real quick, it's like sheep with a disposition of the heavens, man. The ultimate being Yahweh Shai. You know, that sheep that without blemish. And we're trying to follow in the same stead, carrying our cross and our lives, man. So we understand the condition of the battle. We understand the things that are coming, you know, upon the horizon, which is death, slaughter, and pestilence. And we're hoping to have some clemency in that time.
And I wish I had the kiss of Judas. That was his boy, bro. he drunk with him. He had a good ass time with him and shit. You know, when they were all vibing in the spirit before Satan came upon him. Hey, he was in the spirit. Judas Iscariot at one point. But that spirit got taken and put into what it always had to be. You know, that he had to do just that. You know, that shit crazy, man. We in those days. I think the brothers in LA were talking about how one of the brothers in LA were mentioning how there was this dude that was aggressively getting at brothers out there, you know, when they were doing their camp. So, you know, we in those days where, you know, they're gonna wanna. There's people out there, bro, that really hate what we're doing. You know, let's not forget that. You know, we might think that no one's really paying attention. Now there's motherfuckers out there that are looking at these videos like mad, bro. Like mad, bro.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, we just gotta move with more wisdom. That's all it is.
Hey, it's a dude out there on social media right now, man. What's his name? Chud. This white dude. You gotta look him up. I think just type in your browser CHUD.
Is he the one that's doing the chimping chimp, some shit like that?
Man, I don't know.
So why you chimping or chimp? Why you chimping?
Yeah, but he be walking around just calling, you know, black people niggas to their face and shit.
Sure.
Like he blowing up on social media, and Charleston White, you know, he got on the internet talking about it. Like he basically proves that Jake won't do nothing to a white man, but if a black man step on your shoe, then you will kill him. You know what I'm saying? But this dude, he's doing that, and he's building up this big ass following. And the Lord is doing this because this dude is gonna bring that spirit back for Esau to really outwardly show his hatred. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's probably gonna be that because Judah's too pacified, man.
Yeah.
It's like any lion, someone like that's a lion that's kind of crashed out. They have to do something to that lion to kind of get him to react.
Yeah.
You know, so that might just be that part of that ploy, you know, to kind of do that, make that happen. I don't know if you've seen the other Jake, bro. It's funny. I was watching some random ass TikTok, and it's this Jake. You guys probably seen him. It's a young Jake that walks around DC, bro, asking black women about their hair and shit. He'll tell her, why you wear white women or why you wearing wigs and shit. And basically, a black woman was debating or whatever, and one of the people, it was in the background. He he basically said, oh, it's one of the black Hebrew, one of the black Israelites. I was like, oh shit, but it had nothing to do with the Israelites, though, the video.
Right.
You see that spirit's out there, bro.
Yeah.
Even with these
Raising
regular
flames.
ass, especially these college educated Negroes and shit, and people that have kind of like an upper level of understanding, they've been presented with this, bro, and they rejected it, like straight up rejected it. It's common, especially around among the black community. This is common, very common for everybody to kind of have a little bit of knowledge about it, bro. Because that's the first tribe that had to be risen, so it kind of spread everywhere. But a lot of them didn't receive it. That's true. Majority of them. Go ahead, bro.
This is Romans 10 and 18. It says, "But I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily, their sound went into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world."
Yeah, they said that shit in that video, bro. Like you're probably the part of the black Israelites. He probably heard of us. He probably got that game from us. But hey, man, that spirit's out there.
So hey, that ultimately what that says is that none of you Jakes have an excuse. Now you don't have a cloak for your sins because you heard this word, which is ultimately the Lord stretching out His hand and you refuse it. If you don't believe what it is that we're teaching, that's ultimately you saying that you're denying the words of the Lord, man. And so in this time, then there's going to be a judgment for that. We're coming into the time where all things are coming into the Lord's judgment. They're going to face the Lord's judgment, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Everything is coming into the Lord's judgment, and He's about to execute it. There was a point in time where the Lord wasn't executing His judgment, performing His word, but now we're coming into the time where He's gonna perform it, and then that proverb is gonna cease in Israel, man. Ain't gonna be nobody to say, where's your Lord, or where's your God, or where's the sign of His coming, all of these things, man. All of that is about that whole conversation, all of that denial, all of the shit talking is about to be silenced because the Lord is literally about to perform all of the prophecies that He's warned of. We're right at the doorstep of Jacob's trouble coming into effect, into full effect in Revelations 12:12, where this devil is going to come down with great wrath, and 2/3 of our people are going to feel it, man.
Second Ezra 15, we're living through it, really. Second Ezra 15, Second Ezra 16 to be, TBD, coming soon, like Brother Sam, it's coming soon. It's all full blown. Well, there's a mixture of it happening. We're already there, bro. Second Ezra 9, that's been brought up a lot. Ezra 16. Yep.
This is close enough. 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 5 in the NLT, what you were saying, it says they will act religious, but they will reject the power that could make them godly. Stay away from this people. Like the brother was just saying, man, everybody here think they self-righteous, like they know the scriptures, but they read it and they don't know what they're reading. But you have to have the spirit of how about Shemi Al-Shah, but you have to, ultimately the Lord has to put the spirit on you to accept that in His life, to understand the scriptures, man.
That's to call you, bro. That's to like really pluck you out of the fucking, what did it say, 1 and 2 out of the city. It's a very small number. Because they're special.
That's what I'm saying. But we can finish out that Ephesians 6. Go back to I can start at verse 2.
This is Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. It says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness in this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Lord, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, having done all to stand."
Right, so we got to take on the whole armor of the Most High to be able to withstand in the evil day. And when it says having done all to stand, that's speaking about what you're doing now to prepare yourself spiritually. Are you doing everything that you can to be spiritually prepared to be able to stand in this day? That's part of putting on that whole armor. Like bro spoke about fasting, he spoke about being circumspect. Brothers have been speaking about guarding your spirit, diet,
Working out.
moving with wisdom, like being mindful of certain vices and feeding things into your spirit that are not beneficial to your spirit. All of these things are putting on that armor to prepare yourself to stand in the evil day.
Because it goes back to the old path, bro. Going back to the old ways. You know, the old ways benefited us. The new shit that Esau put into our culture is dead. You know, the way of eating. You know, learn how to eat. You know, there's a science behind eating, and we have to learn it.
Yep.
You know, learn. Hey, well, you know, this. I gotta limit this. I gotta limit that. I can't eat this no more. Just completely put it away. And let me build myself back up so that I feel better.
Yeah.
Because Esau's killing us, bro. Why do these people act the way they act? Of the shit that they're eating, not just eating the food, but what they're consuming also, and the TV, the music. It's all bottled up. It's like a fucking mixture of a bunch of shit, bro, to kill your ass, man. And people are deliberately drinking that shit, like fucking Kool-Aid, bro. Because they make it sweet. You know, they make it sweet.
Yeah.
That's why they fucking add sugar to everything, bro. I went into that whole the breakdown of it. They did that shit on purpose. They made certain stuff that was good for you look evil, and they made sugar look good. Like they actually had whole campaign. They went to the government had a bill passed to make certain things more expensive so that sugar became more available. You know, and they put it on everything. There's a study that said if you put sugar on anything, it'll sell 3 times more, or something to that effect. Because the sweetness of it, the addiction.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, going into this time, it's important to really try to get our bodies in suggestion. Because, especially that food demon, man, that sugar demon is strong. Especially in Jake diets.
Yeah.
So,
What's the curse? That's that
Yeah.
army inflammation. What's the main driver of inflammation is the sugar.
yeah.
We addicted to it. That sweet, we like it. That's just the best, bro. But
Keep going on that, bro. Verse 14 is good.
Verse Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 14, it says, "Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth."
That's right.
"And having on the breastplate of righteousness."
There it is, yeah. Your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, man. We're gonna be able to cash in on that in these last days. When people come to try to attack us, and we're gonna stand firm on what we believe in. When we're brought before the kings and the governors for our teachings and for our faith, then the Lord gonna use us as vessels to speak through us and confess this truth to the world. Like we're still gonna be in these predicaments, and if we're the elect, we're still gonna stand on the truth that we believe in. Go ahead.
Verse 15, it says, "And your feet showed with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith."
Shield of faith.
and all those the representation of that characteristics to that armor part, spiritual too. Because the feet shot with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Like you worked on it, man. You've been fully walked into this ministry. And that's really what we're gonna need, that preparation of the gospel of peace. How well we prepare ourselves.
That's it.
I was going to say too, like King David even spoke how the Lord enlarges my foot under my steps. I'm paraphrasing. Like a warrior with his footwork. Because you develop your kinetic energy from the ground up.
Yeah, like a boxer, right? Like
Kinda.
a dancer. That's why they say a good dancer always makes a good boxer. Footwork. Or a soccer player, it requires a lot of little steps that make a big difference on how you take off or how you're able to juke somebody and shit.
It takes like unconscious wisdom to be able to generate that power. Like things that you do naturally.
Yeah. Great point.
So, verse 15 again, it says, "Your feet show with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked."
That's faith is the shield, because it defends you, bro. Like once you have that faith built up, and move it or shake it, like who the fuck is gonna do anything to you? Death can't even fuck with you at that point, bro. She's gonna be fucking. Yeah, let's do it.
Exactly.
Or will it?
Let's finish off in verse 17.
It says, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua.
So there you go, man. You know, put on that whole armor. As you know, we go into these last days where you know there's gonna be battles that we're gonna have to fight on many fronts. But let us move in wisdom. Let us move wisely with prudence and just be circumspect as this devil moves forward with his wicked agendas, with his deceit and his deception. Let us not get caught up in it, because he's about to come with everything he has, and let us continue to move in the Spirit, and let the Spirit guide us through it all. Because the Lord help us to navigate so that we can overcome, ultimately, which is what we're trying to do, man. Put on that whole armor. Again, we're the brothers from the GMS Arizona camp. And Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson, and we're going to sign off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakodash. Again, double honors unto the apostles, the elders, the great millstone. Peace to the hope of the elect out there. Shalom. Shalom.